What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916. You're tuning in to another edition of Prison Talk. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, share the channel, like. We're trying to blow this thing up. I'm here with my man FG. We kicking around some game on this Prison Talk. And FG, man, I want to holler at you about the lack of male role models in the home and father figures in conjunction with the demasculinization of men in our culture. So what's your whole take on that, man, and how it's impacting, in particular, like black families?
Well, it was so much you just said in one. When I think of the things you just said, is of course it's a dynamic, situation, but it really affects us. It affects us as men because the lack of fathers in the house leave us to be raised by women. Women know how to be women, and nothing against mom. She tries her hard. Mm-hmm. Nothing against mom. She probably was, raised in, of course she was raised in a harder time than we were. So even if she hard, she's still not a man. She's still not, a child's still not getting to see his dad get up and go to work every day.
That's right.
And I could take myself, for instance, while I was gone. I have older kids, I have younger kids. My older kids I missed, they were 12. I came home, when I left, they was 12. I came home, they was 20. You know how what those years, you learn at those years? Mm-hmm. They didn't know how to tie a tie. They didn't know how to do certain things that men know how to do. When they was asked to cut the grass, they were lazy. And I'm not knocking them, I'm knocking me for not being there, not being able to teach them how to do the things that men do. But it also goes to the world itself, because when you go back and look at it, now you have the transgender restrooms, and you have, the situations where they it's acceptable to be more feminine, in America, in society, or in the USA. And us as men, it's now we're fighting to keep our masculinity without offending somebody,
Wow.
and that's a hard thing, because I'm not against how anybody want to live their life, but if I want to live mine manly, that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
I shouldn't get looked at as a villain for having the hardcore manly values that our grandfathers and our fathers had.
No, I'm totally with you on that, and I feel like as an adult, a person can make those choices and decide however they want to live their life, but I didn't really even know who I really was until my mid-20s, when I really got to the pen and found a male mentor, a brother who laced me up on how to be a black man. I didn't even know what it was like to be a black man. I sold dope, been to juvenile hall, CYA, but I was just running around a bunch of other rambunctious youngsters that were in the streets. I didn't have anybody to sit me down and school me. I didn't have those deep conversations. Like, I had a grandfather, but it didn't resonate with him, where we'd have conversations about life, job, really politics, culture, what it's like, to be black, talking about maybe historical black figures in history, or like, Martin Luther King or Stokely Carmichael, or, different people, Marcus Garvey, just feeding me genuine information. I would just, hang out with him, and we'd watch, maybe a basketball, football game, or boxing, but he wasn't my dad, and he didn't have even a skill set to do what needed to be done, because he was raised by his grandma.
Right.
So here, my grandpa raised by his grandma. Therefore, how did he really raise his kids, even though he provided and had a job? But the intimacy among black men, we don't have that. And I brought it up one time. How many times has a young black man heard a family member, black male, tell him, "I love you"?
Right, no doubt.
Black man, all right. That's it. It's like, your love you come from your mom, but nothing like, "Hey son, I love you, man. Man, I love you, bro. You my fan. I'm proud of you." It's a warm feeling, man, to have somebody say, "I love you," to build that confidence. That's why we doing the dumb shit, because if you don't have the confidence and somebody pumped you up to feel like you can conquer the world, you're King Kong, you're gonna not make the choices to be higher level choices. But if you don't have that love, you're like, who cares? I'm society, F them, man. I'm out here. I don't care because nobody cares about you.
Right.
You don't love yourself. And I used to sit back and I actually thought about that one time. I'm like, damn, who did I ever, my grandma said I love you, but I used to think like, I didn't really have that. I remember I used to want to, my stepdad, he was a black man, but he light-skinned dude, but he made it known I wasn't the son. And I used to, when I got older, because he used to try to kind of bully, I was like, man, I'm going to beat this dude's ass.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm going to put hands on him. And once I got big enough, my mom got divorced, I called him like, dude, what's happening?
Yeah.
Oh, he acted like he didn't know me.
Oh, man.
He acted like he didn't know me. But I confronted him one time and I looked like, I should put hands in the gas station. And I was so hot because now I'm older, 18, I've been in the streets, then gotten all kind of stuff, but I had an anger towards other black men for no reason, but because I didn't have love myself, because I never felt that love back. And I think that's one of the things hurting our community is that love, bro.
No, it definitely is. But community I grew in, a lot of the homies had 2-parent households. I was fortunate enough to, my situation was more or less like I come from a family of 4. My only brother was killed when I was 17. My father died at 18. My mother died at 19. But before that, I had the full structure.
Okay.
You know what I mean? My father never called me out my name. You know what I mean? And if you go back and talk to my son, I have 4 sons. One is not biologically mine. He's 29. I've been in his life since he was 4 years old. That's my son.
Oh, yeah.
But he'll tell you, I done whooped their ass before. Just like, if you my son, I'm going to treat you like all the rest of them.
That's right.
But I guarantee if you brought them all in here right now, you wouldn't be able to tell which one is not biologically mine. Because I really feel that the way I raise my sons, even though, like I said, I've lacked, don't get me wrong, and I've apologized to these dudes, but I've never called them a bitch. I've never called them a punk. I've never called them out their name because I never felt you was that. You know what I mean? I never tried to demean you or belittle you, and they'll all tell you right now, since they've been grown, that I've all gave them, I still kiss them. I still get them in the head, I kiss them. Man, I love you, man.
That's right.
And they all tell you that right now. But I've learned that because guess what? I had a father, Now, after I lost my whole family, now it's me against the world. Now I'm out here with the knuckleheads, with the homies, with the guns, I've always been around it, but I had a family. Now, when I was out here to make every single decision for myself, it becomes different. Because I'm not getting I haven't had a hug. Well, I haven't had a hug by a grown man since. You know what I mean? That was when I was 19. I haven't had a hug or I love you from a grown man since. So what you saying, I totally get. So I instill this in my sons and my grandsons. I have 4 grandsons. They all know, man, I love you, man. You know what I mean? But that's what a grown man, these 20-year-olds, they need somebody to tell them they love them. But they need somebody to mean it, And respect is established inside the house, of course, at an early age. And even some of the craziest people out here, man, when they see that certain man that they respect and love, whether it's a grandfather or uncle, don't always have to be a dad, but it's nice for it to be. But when they get anybody to say, man, I love you, man, you out here in these streets, but I love you, man. You'll be surprised when they walk off. They might not rob somebody that day. They might not do something that day. Believe me, it helps because we all emotional creatures. We all need that love, man.
So having seen that, where like I said, I had homies too that had both parents, and they were able to kind of avoid a lot of the pitfalls I went through. So I think that's very important. But how much value do you put moving forward with our culture and society in general with having both parents, man? Because I think like it's a balance. Like you said, my mom did a great job, but you got to have, there's a different element the father brings in there to the house to balance it out. And a lot of times, like I was watching something and on the NBA, and somebody was trying to hate on Jay Morant's dad, T. Morant. He was, because he cheers and he's dancing with him. I'm like, dude, you wish your dad did that. You mean to tell me you're hating on this dude? There was a comment, somebody said, Fat Joe said, he's kind of out of control. Every time he makes a thing, he's they blew us out and he's dancing around up there. But the fans that are dancing around that don't have no kids out there, you ain't saying nothing to them.
About
you should be proud this dude's in his life like that.
Nah, no
I mean,
doubt.
how many kids would love to have their dad jumping? Yeah, that's my son. Or the Ball's dad, you know, he done took 3 kids and put them in the NBA, and his dad is still a part of his life. So that's a big thing, man. And I think, you know, I know sometimes it's a bad maybe chemistry with the baby mom or whatever, but having your dad, man, I'm jealous of dudes who had their dads.
You know what? It was only after mine had died, I was jealous of people who had parents.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was a mom, you know, Mother's Day come around. You know, like I say, this been since I was 19, man. And, you know, Mother's Day, oh, man, I got to go by Mom's house, man. Or Christmas, look, I'm going to stop by Mom's house and I'll meet you on the block.
Yeah.
Nah, I didn't have none of that. You know, I might go, like you say, go to Inglewood Park Cemetery because that's where they all at. And, you know, but, so I understand what the jealousy is, but it was only later that I got to experience that, right? Not to go deep into it, but I'm going to back you up. So females have to take responsibility in some of these kids too, because nowadays you can sleep with a female on Friday and 2 weeks later she talking about she pregnant. Hold on, I just met you last Tuesday. You know, so I'm not pointing fingers because the man didn't take precautions to wrap up or take, you know, precautions not to have a child. But some of these females are bringing children into the world knowing the guy could say, listen, I before we even slept together, I don't want to have any kids or any more kids. Oh, I ain't trying to have no kids either.
Yeah,
you know, and she pop out. But what happens is you trying to force a guy to be a dad who's bitter because he told you up front that he didn't want any more kids. You know, I'm blaming him too because he didn't take precautions. But at the same time, we also have to stop bringing kids in these world to keep letting them down, to keep breaking their hearts.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and then when females have kids by multiple guys, you know, like I said, I'm not knocking down on it, but what if the one kid's father is in his life and the next kid's father is not in his life? That other father don't. I mean, I'm sure he's nice to the kid, but that's not his kid.
Yeah, it's not the same.
You know what I mean? You know, and this kid over here getting his heart broke every time his father come take him to the Dodger game. You know, he might take him every now and then, but that's just not his responsibility per se. If the parents are, if you two, you know, aren't together. So now you have 2 baby daddies, you know, and some of them out going to get third. Hold on, the 2 baby daddies not working out, you know, to go get a third. So it's a collaboration between us as grown black men and grown black women to start being more conscious on how these kids are raised, because the more kids are being raised by their mother, the more feminine that they're going to be, just based on a woman can't raise a man. You know, and when you meet these kids, I was a little league football coach for 6 years, Compton Youth Football, I was vice president of the organization too. I knew the kids that had only mothers as parents. I knew the kids had more confidence to have fathers in their life. You know, it was just now the athletic ability was a totally different thing, but emotionally, I knew who had parents, both parents, or who just was raised by a mom. You know,
just off that,
I could see how they act when I tell them to do a drill. I could see how they look for a second. They respect you as a coach, but they almost want to look at you like, you ain't my daddy, because they used to not having one. You know, so when an authoritative figure get around them, you know, they don't move. They learn to, because they learn to like you as a coach. They learn to love you as a coach, so they do it then. But some of these kids not even used to taking orders from a man. You know what I mean? So when you say something to them, they think you just smashing on them. Well, really, no, this is how men speak.
That's right.
You know, this is how men talk. You know?
And you know, that's a great point, because I remember when I was having my conversations with my mentor, who was a big influence on me, another brother when I was in the pen, and you know, he's an older cat, so I said, oh man, I can beat you in basketball. He's like 6'6". He's like, oh man, I beat you. He said, I give you to 15 to 20.
Right,
you know, but my pride, oh man, you know, and that's where, like, not having no dad, I said, okay, let's go. We played, I made 1 basket. He backed me down to 20.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, hurt my feelings, you know what I mean? Because I'm, you know, my ego. But that's like you said, when you don't have that male and you don't know how to accept males telling you what to do because of lack of, you get a almost like a false sense of your pride, and you don't know how to humble yourself in situations which could save your life. And also you can learn, because from that experience, by him whooping me to 20, I now, when he told me something, I took it differently. I learned, you know, I respected his conversation, and it made me look into myself. which, like, man, I'm not all that I think I am. And so it's all right to say that sometimes when you think you know everything.
Right.
You don't know
right,
everything.
right.
Sometimes you guys do. You don't know everything. Yeah, you might have a little bit of money. You selling dope on the street, but, bro, you don't know
You don't
everything.
know nothing, right.
OGs up in there. There's a lot of OGs. I seen the pen. Let me holler at you. And you get to talking, this dude been down 20. He's like, yeah, I got 10 more. He's like, God, you been down how long?
Man.
And he get to tell you, he came in there when he's a youngster, and he's telling you some real game, and you go back and sit on your bunk like, damn, man, why can't I have heard this on the streets?
No, real talk. And I don't know how much I could speak on this, but it doesn't help that, for me, being a strong black man, when I turn on the TV, Herc, and I see some of my favorite TV shows start to be more and more TV shows, they have to throw "To Me and Kissing" in my TV show.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not homophobic.
Yeah, I know.
It's just,
yeah.
but I'm not homosexual either.
Yeah.
So, my kids say they starting to put it in. I have older kids, but I'm hearing with my grandsons, and they started to put it in the cartoons.
Yeah.
Well, they got a girlfriend. The girl got a girlfriend, or the two bears, the two red bears walk off together instead of the red and the blue bear, and and what I'm saying is, growing up like that, it's going to be hard for our kids to determine what's straight and what's not. Everybody have a choice, but I really believe that you should be 18 before you start feeding these kids. Let these people be what they gonna be.
Let them be kids, man.
Let them be kids,
man.
They shouldn't be taught nothing in school about what do you call it when they
remember,
gender.
Well, remember, we didn't have sex ed until like sophomore, freshman.
Yeah,
so when you're in high school,
right,
and then you're like, okay, you go in there, you're kind of embarrassed. You got the class is a mixed class, but they sign a waiver to the parent. We're gonna start teaching this semester sex ed. I want to say sophomore, junior year. It was no matter of fact, it's my junior year. It wasn't even freshman. Junior year, so you're almost like 16 years old when you're driving, when you're able to drive.
Driver ed, sex ed.
Sex ed at 16, but man, first grade, you don't even, second grade, man, you weren't even thinking about that, man.
They killing me with that.
You weren't thinking about that. Kids don't know about
Kids don't
tucking.
know about that. Right. Let them be kids.
Yeah.
And they eventually decide what they want to be. I'm not trying to discredit the movement. I'm saying don't hammer it. I don't want to see it on every TV show I watch. I used to watch Empire. I just stopped watching it.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
Me too.
And,
The Shy.
because they put it on too much.
Yes.
And then not to mention, like I said, I'm not trying to get banned or nothing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, me and my son got into it. He went when my grandson was what, 6 months maybe, and he went and put an earring in each ear. We got into it. I mean, it went down over that one.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna protect all of mine. Let him be. I told my sons, I never got y'all ears pierced before y'all was 18. Let these kids, or even 17, 16, but let them be old enough to determine that this is what I want. You feel me? No, but I'm gonna tell you, with my sons, they younger generation. So guess where they getting this shit from? The rappers. The rappers got the double earrings now they wearing dresses and high heel boots and you know what I mean? And they jamming, watching the video. Now, like I say, I'm not against it. It's just I should have the right to like what I like. And if I don't want my rapper with a dress and high heel boots on, that's just a preference. It's not a dislike. It's just a preference that, I go back to the khaki suits or the Ice Cubes or just a different style, or the khaki work outfit with the work boots. You know what I mean? Show me some of that in today's society, because in reality, everybody can't be a rapper. You know what I mean? So show me the hard hats and the stuff that men have to go out there and do, because everybody can't be a software genius.
Nobody talks about those jobs, and even I don't know how many schools still have those programs, but I remember part of like junior high was welding class. I made a little candle holder, made a little bar, and I remember taking it to my ground. Look what I welded. You had to learn how to work that thing, cut it on, pop the little thing, do the little thing, and so they had the welding, and then they had. I remember they had auto body in high school where you go in there, you can learn different mechanics, how to change oil, change a tire, radiator fluid, all that stuff that you need to know how to do. And these are now valuable traits. I mean, I've messed with a lot of cars. Everywhere I go, they're hiring.
Yeah.
Everybody's hiring for a mechanic. Dude, they're hiring people left to right to do these jobs, and they're paying good money. But that's like a lot of the things that they don't have anymore. And then, the parents aren't doing it with the kids. I remember, if you have a dad, you go out there work on the car with your dad. Or I remember my grandpa helping him wash the cars. And I'd be excited after we wash the car, we go for a little ride in a Mustang or something, But those are things that are being kind of like swept under the rug. And like myself, my aunt was, she was gay, and I've been around stuff, and it wasn't no big thing, she played, but to, like you said, impression younger people, which are very malleable because they don't understand. And I just think that there has to be some type of, regulation, man. I mean, there has to be a balance where, my child, if I had a child, should have the opportunity to be a kid and let him figure out some of this stuff as an adult. But yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. And, just the influence, and, hip hop as a culture has become so strong. I remember they thought hip hop wasn't gonna survive. Back then we had Curtis Blow, Grandmaster Flash Furious 5, you had, Run DMC, and then it just now, you hip hop, I mean, I've seen Big Daddy Kane and Russia, man, they knew all the lyrics. They don't even speak English. So it's such a powerful thing, and now it's used to influence people all over the world.
But look what they talking about now.
Exactly.
Murder, murder, murder. Guns, guns, guns. Dope, dope, dope. How many keys I bought? I bought 100 keys overseas.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is what these kids are singing.
And over-sexualization.
Oh, no doubt. You know what I mean? No doubt.
Hypersex.
So with this, the message that's being sent, how can they win?
I know. I just, I try to put out, and I'm not judging. I've worked in the industry. I know all the stuff. So I'm not saying somebody, I'm any better than anybody else, but having been through that experience and having the foresight now, I just, looking at kids in the future, it's like, making conscious choices and giving yourself a chance to win before you fail. Because a lot of times, you look down the road, you're like, man, all that stuff you guys are doing is on the internet forever. This stuff I've done, it's never could be, you can Google, I'm all over. I know it is what it is, but you guys can prepare yourself, because even if society says, oh, this is cool, it's still, when you get into certain workplaces, it's going to impact you.
Right, no doubt.
And it's somebody Google, oh man, look, you come to work, oh man, look, we got oh man, I don't know if you want to work here still, or it can impact you some way, somehow. So you just got to be conscious of it. And, as a parents out there, you got to really, at this point, you got to really be progressively fight for your kids.
Right, that's what it is. And that's what we go back to talk about, parents being in their kids' life. So you could be right there on the money, schooling them, teaching them, telling them, and it'll be all right.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think school is actually additive at this point, where you almost got to teach your kid the basics at home with the truth, and let the school be secondary, because now we have access to information. You see now there's a lot of stuff we didn't get access to that we were lied about. That's
right, no doubt.
Out,
exactly. And you're absolutely right. And we do it at home. We can make sure you know this before you go there. That's a tool for learning. But we gonna teach you what you need to be taught, as far as us as a culture, us as a people, us as human beings, and the truth about certain things before you go in there. You may go in there and they tell you a whole lot. You might not even have to say nothing. You going for this grade. On the inside, you know what's going on.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Everything don't have to be argued about.
Yeah.
I mean?
You just nod your head and go along,
right,
but you know the
right,
truth.
Right.
Hey, and there you have it, FG and Big Herc, Prison Talk.